Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises and honor and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rekakwadash. All right, we know cap nations of kings and priests. Spirit's been jumping on me lately, man. Scriptures. When we read the scriptures, especially like scriptures like Romans 15:4, it says that that which was written beforetime was written for our learning, so we might have hope. When we look at examples of a Mashiach, when he was being tempted, when he was being tempted, these type of temptations, he dealt with how? Through the scriptures. So it's important for us to, no matter what tribulation, no matter what's happening to us, no matter what's going on in our lives, no matter the situation, we always got to look at the scriptures. We always got to seek the Most High. We have to pray. We have to fast, because ultimately, guess what? It ain't about us, man. It's about Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. And we have to learn how to endure in this truth. There will be tribulations. There will be things put in place to allow us to grow in this truth. The problem is a lot of us don't see it. We may fail that test. So the tools that we have, that Yahweh, our great spirit, has gave us, is the scriptures and the texts to allow us to have hope. So we look at examples like Nehemiah, like Jeremiah, like the apostles, the disciples, and of course Yahweh Shai Mashiach, even Paul, Peter. What I'm saying? We got some great examples in the scriptures. So Kahala Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. One thing about Israel, we are an envious and hateful nation, man, and it's amongst each other, and we see it throughout the scriptures, man. And there's a way to deal with it, and there's also a way that we can identify it, and also either avoid it or deal with it. So that's what we're going to speak about today. And like the scripture says, we want to do everything decently and in order. First scripture I'm gonna go, as a matter of fact, we're gonna do this. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go to the book of Peter's, man. Book of First Peter's. That's what we're going to do. Right? Because Peter gives a description of how we should be, how we should act, right, amongst each other. Now, he breaks it down not only by the elder, but also by the younger. We're going to read this real quick, right? So this is the book of First Peter, chapter 5. And I'm going to start at verse 1. The elders, so now this is Peter, the rock of the church, right? The one appointed, the one that Christ appointed, right? In charge, right? He said he's addressing the elders. So he says, the elders which are among you, I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of a Mashiach, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Meaning what? Peter was there, man. He walked with Christ, right? Verse 2. He says, feed the flock. So you as an elder, you got to do what? Feed the flock. So that's a order from the rock of the church that Yahweh Shai Mashiach gave power to, right? So he's telling you what? To feed the flock, right, which is among you, taking the oversight thereof. The oversight is what? Taking care of that flock, man, like a shepherd would, right? When you read the book of Psalms, it says that a shepherd attends to his flock, meaning what? You want to be that brother or that leader, or what we call an elder in this truth, to oversee and help the flock. If you're not doing that as an elder, according to the scriptures, according to what's recorded in the scriptures and orders from the rock, you're not doing your job. you know. So it says, taking the oversight thereof, Salakia, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint. So what would be considered constraint, right? Constraint was brothers who grab these scriptures and try and hurt someone, man, right? They try and hurt somebody with the law of God instead of what? Instead of what a Mashiach taught you what the law was, man. Yeah, we're gonna be judged by the law, but you ain't the law itself. We know that there's a deeper meaning to that law, man, right? So now, not by constraint. A lot of y'all try and constraint with man-made doctrines, man. We see it through the scriptures. We see the scriptures where they were making a man-made doctrines around the law of the Most High, right? You see that today as well. It's very clear. That is a constraint, right? See, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. What does that mean? Meaning that you here to serve Yasha Allah, man. Yasha Allah ain't to serve you. You serving Yasha Allah as an elder. That's your job, man. It's like, you know, we, it's not me asking Yasha Allah, what can you do for me? It's what I can do for Yasha Allah. That should be it, right? Verse 3, neither being lords over the heritage. So like it over the heritage of Yahweh, but being examples to the flock. Here's another requirement as well. You have to be a good example to the flock of Yasha Allah. If you're a bad example, then again, you're not meeting the requirement of what the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai has left here for us. You're not meeting that requirement. All right? Let's continue. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, he shall receive, so like ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. Why? Because you earn in that spot. A lot of y'all think these titles mean something. Those titles don't mean nothing, man. It's how you serve. Most High ain't looking at your title. He's looking at how you served, man. What example you given. That's what he's doing. That's what he's looking for. Right? That not faded away. So here comes the flip side. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourself unto the elder. So now we see that the young that are not elders have to submit to an elder. Right? Yea, all you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility, for God resisteth the proud and giveth grace to the humble. A lot of us get too puffed up in this truth, man. And it ain't puffed up for the Most High. It's not puffed up for the Most High. It's puffed up for our own doing, man. For what we want instead of what the scriptures say. Right? Verse 6, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of Yahweh, that he might exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Verse 8, be sober. We can't be drunk in this truth, man. Be vigilant, because the adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Verse 9, whom resisteth steadfast in faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. But the God of all grace, who hath called us unto his eternal glory by a Mashiach Yahushai, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect, establish, strength, settle you. So we're going to have to go through that adversity, and guess what's going to happen? You're going to get a lot of brothers who are going to stab you in the back. There's a lot of brothers right now that are beside you that will betray you. There's elders that you confide in that will betray you. That's the way this truth rolls, man. I'm giving it to you raw. I ain't here to paint a pretty picture. I'm here to give it to you how it is and my experience. There's brothers who are going to backstab you, and we're reading in the scriptures, man. We the people of the book, huh? The people in the book stab each other in the back, right? The people in the book, the elders, they went off, man, right? Not all the elders, but there were elders that you have to be circumspect in this truth. You got to walk sincerely. That will protect you. Don't be like, well, I'm gonna, nothing's gonna happen to me in this truth. Like I came in this truth very, very, I would say, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very gullible, man. Very gullible. You know, and unfortunately, I learned quick. I learned very quick. It wasn't like that. You come in the truth. You're like, damn, bro, this is it. This is the truth. You're an Israelite. I know that. Of course, I'm an Israelite. I got to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Khan, all praise to the Most High. And then you realize that if not, it's probably worse than what you experience in the world. Because in the world, they don't know that they have to follow certain guidelines. In the truth, they do, and they still cross that line. It's a damn shame, but here we are, right? Watch this. Let's go to Matthew. Salaki, I'm jumping off a subject right now. I mean, not subject. We're on the same subject, but I'm jumping off the scriptures that I intended to bring out. But that's cool. That's the spirit, man. Right? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to start off of Matthew chapter 7 and verse 15. It says, beware of false prophets which come to you in sheep's clothing, telling you what? That those false brothers are going to come very nicely, fringes, right? Very, sound speech, right? The I did this, I did that. Hey, that's a warning sign. Salakia. Side note, that's a warning sign. When you got a brother who constantly says, I did this, I did, you hear a lot of I's in the conversation and not glorifying the Most High. To me, that's a red flag. I look at that. I'm like, he's talking, he exalts himself a little too much. And now when we see that exhortation of himself and not Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you keep an eye on that, right? Right. So now they come to you in sheep's clothing, right? Verse 16. Ye shall know them by their fruit. So now you have to understand that a false prophet, a false brother, a false Israelite will have fruit. In other words, they will yield that fruit. And there's fruit they're going to yield. What is fruit? Fruit is those things that you're going to see. It's not what they say necessarily. It's not only what comes out of their mouth, but what either their track record, right? In this truth, what they put in, right? Eyewitnesses that have dealt with these brothers or brother, whatever, or sister, whatever the case may be. They got a really bad track record. It's like if they keep pointing at everybody else but themselves, right? Everybody else is wrong, but they right. Right? That's another red flag, Salakia. That's another red flag. Mayaka Allah Shalom King. Yahweh Shem Yahushua Baraka. Da. Hey man. So that's a red flag, Salakia. I hear a brother keeps talking about himself and what he has done in this truth, right? Giving himself credit, patting himself in the back. Da, da, da. He writing down in one hand and the other one's doing this, patting his ass in the truth. That's a big sign. That is a red flag for me. I guarantee you, in my experience, if a brother does that, guess what's going to happen? He go he 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 is not giving glory to the Father. That's one thing. The Father's owed everything. Yahweh Shai himself did not even exalt himself, man. He exalted Yahweh always, right? That's a red flag to me. Brother keep talking about himself. Brother, you ain't nothing. Most High don't need you, bro. He don't need me. He don't need you. He don't need us. He could do it by himself. But he is one thing about Yahweh in his perfection. He is the father of the promise. He gave the promise. He is a righteous father, so he keeps his word. That's the only reason why we are still in this game, right? The water, appreciate it. Okay, the water. Okay, so like your family, they feeding me over here, so I appreciate that. Thank you, sir. um, but like I was saying, man, it's a heavy, burden, on the flock that's looking at elders and or leaders like that. And they're saying, man, hold on a second, bro. This brother always talking about himself, you know, and he's never given glory to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. That is a red flag, man. Right? So that fruit that he yields, you got to pay attention to that, man. Right? So now let's go to Philippians, man. Watch this. Let's go to the book of Philippians. We're going to start at chapter 1 because you're going to see, like, in these times, and nothing new under the sun, right? So we're going to start at let's start at verse 14, right? So it's Philippians 1 and 14. And many of the brethren in the Lord. So now this is Paul speaking about brothers in the Lord, meaning what? In the truth. Doing what? Waxing confident in my bonds, which more bold to speak the word without fear. And we see that today. There's a lot of young brothers, right, that are speaking this word without fear. I was watching Sakari, New York, I believe it was today. And salute to them brothers, man. And that's a powerful camp, bro. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Alazar and Deacon, them brothers, man. But them brothers over there in New York, man, they are fire, man. If you haven't checked them brothers out, it really, like, to me, I'm excited, man. Like when I watch brothers like that and I see young brothers and they got that fire and they're rightly dividing the word and they're, teaching our people. And, it's a beautiful thing, man. I rejoice in that, man. I don't know about y'all. I rejoice in that, but anyways, I was watching it and I was just seeing the way they were dividing the word, man. It was a young brother, man. It was like, damn, like that's it's really good to see, man. It's really, really good. It's enjoyable, man. And we see how far this truth has gotten us, man. We were talking about it the other yesterday, Salakia and Shabbat. Just kind of discussing here in Central Florida. There was a certain period of time when nobody was teaching in these streets, especially in the Tampa area, Orlando a little bit, but not that much at that time. But now we seeing it all over. Like you could probably walk in, this block and this block and see Israelites in the corner teaching. So kahala Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai for that, and that is a beautiful thing, right? And we see that spirit in the way Paul wrote this through this spirit. We're going to continue reading, right? So speaking without fear, right? Some indeed preach a Mashiach even of envy and strife. So now you have Israelites who know the Israelites, okay, speaking Yahweh Shai Mashiach, because I'm going to tell you right now, If you ain't preaching and believing in a Mashiach, you are not in the truth. You are not keeping Torah, right? Ain't no Old Testamentite gonna tell me he know the truth if he don't know a Mashiach. I'm not budging with that. We don't compromise with Yahweh Shai because we can't go to the Father directly. We ain't doing that. Right? But anyways, verse 15, some indeed preach Christ in envy and strife. Meaning what? You got brothers who are envious, man. And they know Christ. They know the truth. They know the commandments. We got brothers like that in our backyard, man. Envious as hell. We try to deal with them, but that envious spirit comes with what? Comes with strife. So that envious spirit, you envy, you're going to have strife. They'll try and mask it with the truth. They'll try and say, well, it's rebuke and this and that, but you'll see them twist so much for them to believe in what they believe in other than the truth. That's envy and strife. That's what that is. They may see you, they may be like, damn, bro, like, you a young brother, you got that zeal. There's older brothers who are envious of that. You know what I'm saying? Many, many moons ago, I was a victim of that in my walk. So I know what that feels like because I went through it. And I never wanted anyone to ever go through that with me. So it was never in my spirit, right? But us as Israelites, we have to learn how to exalt each other versus put each other down. That's the fucked up thing, man. Salaki from our language. That's the fucked up thing. Like, we learned, the world taught us to hate each other, right? To talk down to each other, right? To manipulate each other, to use each other. And then we come in the truth. We don't expect that, but we do see that. So like the scripture says, some is preaching envy and strife. And here it goes. And some also of good will. Verse 16, and one preach Christ in contention. We see a lot of that too. We don't see no edification. We see what? Contention. Right? Not what? Not sincerely. Because if that's all you're doing is your whole ministry is to be contentious, that's not being sincere. Who are you edifying? You're not edifying no one. Your word, you are allowing the word of the Most High to go void. You can say, what you think the Bible is, but you gotta what's coming inside is gonna be projected outside. That's why we gotta walk in sincerity and in truth. You're not hiding nothing from the Most High. It will be revealed, right? One preaching contention, not sincerely, supposing to add affliction to my bonds. Verse 17, but other of love, knowing that I am set for the defense of the gospel. Meaning what, man? Meaning that there are brothers that preach like Paul, right? Verse 18, what then, notwithstanding every way, so like, let me go up here. Every way, notwithstanding in pretense or in truth, Christ is preached, and I therein do rejoice. Yea, I will rejoice. He's saying what? He's saying that even though these brothers preach that way, look at the spirit that the Most High gave to Paul, and he was dealing with him. That even though these brothers were preaching not in the way he would preach, because we have to ask ourselves: was Paul preaching in contention? Was he not sincere? Was he preaching in envy and strife? He was not preaching in envy and strife. We see the way he was preaching in Acts. We see the way he was preaching in the epistles. So we understand the type of spirit he was rolling in. So we cannot say that he was not sincere. So who he talking about? He's talking about brothers that were outside of where he was teaching. other brothers who knew Christ, who knew the truth, right? Which we could call them what? In those days, now we call them different camps. They may call them different groups at that time, but that's what it was. So not only do you have different groups here, they may have been preaching it differently. But Paul rejoiced because Christ was preached. The example I gave, seeing the brothers from New York preaching, man, like to me it was beautiful because you seeing young brothers and they got that zeal and that spirit and dividing the word, man. They in the middle. I saw like I think it was Manhattan, but man, you see that too. There's a lot of other groups as well that do that work, man, and it's a good thing to see. However, don't be that envy and strife, brother. However, don't be that contentious and not sincere, brother. You have to do this in sincerity and in truth, right? Don't be that wicked elder who has a horrible track record and you're diminishing the spirit of the young, man. Don't do that. Don't be that envious spirit and don't be that strifeful spirit. Don't be that guy, right? Don't be that guy, right? There's enough of that to go around, man. Watch this, man. So like we're gonna come back to Philippians. Let's go to Jeremiah, man. Like I told you before, I'm gonna show you this always been going on in Israel, man. Right? Where do I want to start? I want to start at verse 5. Socket 4. This is Jeremiah chapter 9 and verse 4. Take heed every one of his neighbor, and trust not ye in any brother, for every brother will utterly supplant. What does it mean to supplant? Supplant. You know what? Let me do this. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just grab the definition right quick, right? So this is the definition of supplant, right? It says to, Salakia, supplant. It says to superimpose another, especially by force or treachery. Now, to uproot, right? To take the place and to serve as a substitute for, especially by reason of superior or power, right? That's pretty messed up that a brother would do that, right? But that's the way our people roll. Again, we're in the book of Jeremiah. It's talking about our people, right? That will utterly supplant, and every neighbor will walk with slanders. Will walk with what? Slanders. So we got to be careful with those brothers who walk slanderous. If all they're doing, if their whole ministry is about slandering, if their whole ministry is about supplanting, don't deal with them, right? Verse 5, and they will deceive everyone his neighbor and will not speak the truth. You see that? Because it does not benefit them to speak the truth. So they have to lie. One way that they'll lie, they'll try and diminish a person's character. So they'll take personal attacks and or shots at a person. And that's fine, but that shows the character of weakness. When someone, like, let's say you arguing with someone, right? What's the first thing that they'll do? They'll try and attack you personally, right? Especially, sometimes, when we were kids, we're telling, man, you goofy-eyed, big head, you know what I'm saying? You're doing the same thing as an adult. You're attacking them personally. So you attack their character to what? To try and diminish their reputation. So when you lie, it becomes more valid. I'm going to repeat that again, Salakia. They will diminish your character, lie on you, right? So that when they lie, it could look more valid. Hope y'all heard me. Right? Verse 6, thine habitation, Salakia, and they will deceive everyone his neighbor and will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies and weary themselves to commit iniquity. They have mastered their tongue to speak these lies. They understand how they are to lie. And how do you recognize these people, Yasha Allah? That's all they do. All they do is complain, bitch and complain, bitch and complain. And you know what? That leads them to what? To lie. Hell, it leads some to even accompany ones who hate Yahweh Shai. Let me tell you something. An enemy of Yahweh Shai is my enemy. I'm not gathering with nobody who don't, right, rock with Yahweh Shai. Literally, that's an enemy of Yahweh Shai. So the one that you are, say, he's your Lord, he's your king. You're basically confiding and going with the enemy of Yahweh Shai. No, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. Right? I ain't doing that. Right? Khan. Call Yahweh Shai, man. Hell no. I'll never compromise Yahweh Shai. You got me really messed up, man. Right? Verse 6, thine habitation is in the midst of deceit. Right? Through deceit, they refuse to know me, saith Yahweh. Therefore saith the Lord of hosts, behold, I will melt them and try them. For how shall I do for the daughter of my people? Their tongue is an arrow shot out, and speaketh deceit. One speaketh peacefully to his neighbor with his mouth, but in his heart he lieth his weight. Oh, I love you, brother. I love you. Let me tell you something, bro. If you don't love nobody but yourself, right? You don't even love the Most High. I am not compromising on Yahweh Shai. I'm telling you that right now. Right? So now from there, let's go to Jeremiah 14 and 14. Yeah, come on. All right. Let's stay in Jeremiah, man. Let's go to Jeremiah 14 and 14. Then the Lord said to me, the prophets prophesied lies in my name. I sent them not, neither have I commanded them, neither spake unto them. They prophesy unto you a false vision and divination, and a thing of naught, and the deceit in their heart. You see that? Speaking lies, Israel, speaking lies. Right? From there, let's go to Sirach 12 and 10. I wasn't going to be too long-winded, man, on this. I just wanted to drop some scripts on this, you know. We're going to go to Sirach 10 and verse 12. So it says, the beginning of pride is when one departed from Yahweh and his heart is turned away from his maker. Come on. That pride is a mug, man. Let me tell you. Again, the brother who's always saying me, I. He's got a lot of I's in his sentences. He's saying I's, I got an eye on him. I don't trust anybody who does that, man. You're taking too much credit. Where is the credit to Yahweh Shem Yahushai? Right? Salakia. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. So I shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them a strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. That's what's going to happen to a lot of these unsincere brothers, man, who walk like that, man. Right? Let's stay in Sirach. Let's go to 23 and 5. So Sirach 23 and verse 5. So it says, turn away from me vain hopes and concupiscence, and thou shalt hold him up that derivest awareness to serve thee. Right? Let not the greediness of the belly nor the lust of the flesh take a hold of me, and give not over me thy servant into an impudent mind. Con. So, and that is the type of thinking we have to do. Like when you make it too much about yourself, that's what happens. Pride comes in. Now it's me. Then you look at other people, and then you see things. You see Yahweh truly working with them. Guess what happens with pride? It becomes envious, becomes strifeful, right? So from there, let's go to Philippians. Back to Philippians, but we're going to Philippians chapter 2, Baba Kasha. Philippians chapter 2. Let's start at verse 3, I believe. Is it 3? Salaki. It is 3. So this is Philippians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let nothing, I repeat, let nothing, what? Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind. What does that mean? It means be humble, brother. Relax. Take it easy. What you all puffed up for, right? So when we're dealing with each other, that's what we got to deal with, right? And lowliness of mind, let each esteem other better than themselves. What does that do? Eliminate that pride. Eliminates any that self-exhortation. Right? Verse 4. Look not every man of his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Meaning, have a spirit more willing to give than to receive, man. Right? Let this mind be in you, which was also in a Mashiach Yahushai. Come on, man. If it wasn't Yahushai, it has to be in you, man. Right? Verse 6, who being in the form of Yahweh thought it not robbery to be equal with Yahweh, which means what? That Yahweh gave him all the power. And he did things that only can be done through Yahweh. That's what verse 6 means. Verse 7, but made himself of no reputation. So hold on a second, bro. All things were made by him. All things were made by him. He is the most perfect Son of God. He's the most perfect Son of God. In other words, we are the sons of God, but he is the most perfect. You got children? Okay, come. You know that son or daughter that you love so much is the perfect image of you, does everything right, man, got that perfect little smile, right? Smart, right? As a wit, right? Does things that you wish you were doing as his or her as his age, right? That perfect being, Yahweh, took, right? And he took the life of his favorite son so that the rest of the children can see the example of him and be like him. So, if he gave himself no reputation, that's how I'm a roll. I'm a roll like Big Bro. Big Bro had no reputation and did not exalt himself, right? But made himself of no reputation and took upon him the form of a servant, right? And was made in the likeness of men. And being found in the fashion of man, he humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. Wherefore Yahweh also hath highly exalted him and given him a name which is above every name. Because he earned it, man. Right? That the name of Yahweh Shai Mashiach, every knee should bow, of things in heaven and things in earth and things under earth. And that every tongue should confess that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is the Lord, to the glory of Yahweh the Father. Right? So if that's going to be the example, I'm going to roll with that. I'm not going to be me, and a damn pity party, man. I'm not going to give you a 5-hour pity party on live stream, man. Stop. Stop. Stop exalting yourself. Stop pointing the finger at everyone else but yourself. Be a man, right? Because guess what? Even Yahweh Shai Mashiach didn't make it about himself. He stayed what? Obedient until the end. That's what we got to do. We got to focus on that, and we got to continue and have that in our mind, right? Like it says here. So with that, I'm going to say Shalom. Kahala Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. We know Cap Nations of Kings and Priests. All right. Want to give double honors to the elders of Mashraya Sharala. All right. We're going to do a live stream this week about the upcoming summit in North Carolina. All right. There's a schedule we're going to do. So y'all stay tuned to that. Again, called Laya Bashim Yahweh Shai. The water. Shalom.